All right, so let me check the audio. All right, and then the screen. All right, so this is the Sociology of Health and Medicine, replacing the lecture of the week number 10. All right, so welcome back, everyone. So I'm sorry that I could not make the lecture due to my the invited talk at the Seongyungan University. Hope you had a great holiday, so including the May Day holiday and the Monday as the my so I was in the invited talk. And on the May 5th was the national holiday as the Children's Day. So hopefully you could have the temporary pause of your the hard working semester after the midterm, and hopefully everything's well with you. All right, so I'm using the microphone, the HD, the camera. So I just checked the audio and it looked very fine. It sounded very fine. So let me proceed on. Okay, so I'm using the Canva as well, but sometimes it has a problem with the total screen, the full screen. So I'm just using the casual mode of as a normal mode. All right, so yeah, thank you very much for your patience and understanding. So I had this is the poster on that they made to advertise my invited talk, and yeah, I had the one about 1 hour the guest talk at the Sungkyung University to share my knowledge and my previous trajectory of the study about the suicide in South Korea, and showing that there are many of the multiple and the interesting factors about why the South Korea has very high suicide rate, as well as so what were the contributing factors about the suicide in South Korea? So I'm unsure we can have the time to share this topic in our class, but probably yeah, I may share some of the basic findings and the elements of the suicide in South Korea later. All right, so in this week, we are using the topic as the health and the health lifestyle and health positive and health negative behavior. So the last time, so I mean, there was the last week, I remember, and these were related with the health. So our health condition, these are very highly related with the our education, as education could be the very big resource and as the kind of the background impacting on the decision. And based on the education, based on our lifestyle and economic conditions and the employment condition and psychosocial resources, based on these mediators, the education can impact on our health condition, sometimes better and sometimes worse based on the level of education. And maybe we are picking up one pathway as the mediating the education to the health condition based on the lifestyle. So in these days in South Korea, and not only the South Korea and also many of the other countries, we are perceiving that the health as achievement. So do you agree about that? I mean, so based on their health condition, so you are these are not just given. In Korean, there is terminology as the 인자강, which means 인간 자체가 강함, which means they were born. These individuals were born very strong. So regardless of their drinking style or regardless of their smoking or something, they were born very strong, so they don't need to care a lot about their health condition because they had the inherited levels of the health condition. So by that meaning, the health is not achievement, and these were given. But other than that, usually and very more likely, we are perceiving the health condition is our achievement. So for example, how do we achieve the better health condition? You may say the healthy diet or the having the regular exercise. So these are the main criteria we are perceiving that there to keep our health condition better. We are trying our best to the health positive behavior. So I don't need to list them up because these are based on our common sense, and you learned a lot about the from the media and from your social network. You hear a lot about how to care about your health condition. So we would rather to focus on the theoretical part instead of the common sense. So let me proceed to the next part of the lecture. All right, so this is the a video. Maybe I can share this video as a link, but let's briefly think about what are the major aspects of the health condition we can see. Maybe. Okay, so I'd rather add a link to the our webpage so that sometimes when I upload the video, if I add in the insert the video, sometimes it makes the license issues and it's not uploaded very well. So yeah, I will also skip this part as a video, but yeah, I highly recommend you to watch this video for your the further study. All right. So when I try to search on the health lifestyle on the YouTube or the images in the Google, there are a lot of images of the titles. So 10 healthy habits that changed my life, and it's showing that, oh yeah, I lost my much of the weight in this way, and there were a lot of that. So we would see that the taking care of our health condition is the very big and the primary virtue of our life. But is that much matter? Or what are the cultural aspects that contributing on these types of the notion? In not only in South Korea and many of the countries, and many of the developed countries, we will see that our body is our achievement and one of the mission to care about. So let's see what are the aspects about that. So in Korea, just focusing on the Korean context. So if we meet the people, if you meet the people or the friends for a while, what are the main the greeting word? Maybe sometimes they make the complimentary of your appearance, right? So sometimes they say, "Oh, you got so pretty." In Korean, "Oh, 너 엄청 예뻐졌다." Or, "Oh, you lost a lot of weight." It means that, "야, 너 살 많이 빠졌다." In Korean. These are in many times very complimentary word. I mean, the 칭찬 in Korean, which means the encouraging their achievement in the red meaning. So the checking out or the pointing out the appearance in Korea, it's sometimes rude, but is perceived as the consideration. They care about them and they can they can realize the changes. Anyway, it's the kind of their attention, having the attention, and whether it's positive or negative, whatever, they have the attention and they care about that. But in the US or other countries, for example, in the Western countries, the checking out and pointing out their appearance might not be considered as very polite way of the conversation. So saying that, oh, you lost your weight might mean that, oh, you got so weak, for example. So if for men, maybe you got so weak would be some of the inserting word possibly. But even for woman, it may not mean that you don't look very healthy in that way. So based on the context of the culture, so some of the notions of the passages of the conversation are not considered as very polite and not considered very well as a part of the conversation in their passages of the culture. So, what are the differences of the cultural backgrounds? These are some of the different topics. So, well, we will just focus on the what are the major aspects of that. All right. So, if we were in class, yeah, I would like to ask these two questions to you. So, what do you think about that? My first question to you would be, what kinds of the lifestyles did you try to practice and apply in your actual life? Mm-hmm. Why don't you think about the 30 seconds and then yeah, I will share that with you guys. Maybe within this year or when you have some specific events, for example, and um, when you decided maybe to change your lifestyle. Hmm. All right. So, for me, as a professor and as one of the person who are who is highly educated, I'm not doing very well in the taking care of my balance of the work and lifestyle because, yeah, I work a very long time and sometimes my diets are so if I eat outside, so I do not eat very well and healthy diets because many of the restaurants I go, these have the very strong, very strong the appetite and strong taste. And sometimes these are very salty. And yeah, so I'm not saying that these are the complaints about them, but anyway, I eat many of the outside food, and these would have a very high level of fat and very high strong the taste. But maybe for you, for example, if you are in the if we're in the on the conditions of the doing the regular exercise, such as the person having the personal training, others, probably you are trying very active ways of the health positive behaviors. And how about others? Did you have any factors that discouraging or the preventing you from the applying practicing those healthy lifestyles? For me, the very busy schedule as a professor, the teaching and the research and the services and the contributing the communities where I'm involved with, these are the pressing me to choose which one would be on the priority. So, like this week, I have the outside of the extracurricular activities of my family, and sometimes I have the external talk and the invited talk. And whenever I have that kind of a schedule, it reduces my flexible time. So you may say that, oh, you can decline any time, but as I just arrived in South Korea, having these types of opportunity would be very highly related with my competency of my professional activities. So it's in between. I cannot say which one is white and which one is black in the gray area. Anyway, so you are competing, you are having the very busy schedule as well, and you may see that maybe there are many of the competing priorities of your academic work at the school and many of the mm, other activities to prepare for your career like that. So that's about that. So this is not the first time because these photos are I posted in my the social network service a long time ago at my first job. So back to home 퇴근 at the 4 8 a.m. So that was my 퇴근 time to finish my work. And on the same day, I came back to the office to work at the 6:10, which was so I got about the 1 hour of sleep because I lived very near to the home, but there was very the rural the condition of the work. So, but the pre-existing condition, as I have the family background of the high blood pressure, I need to care of my health condition, but there are not many the ways of having the very good levels of health condition. All right, so there are the many articles. So yeah, I would ask you to read over, but even though you are not reading the original articles, but I'm using those two articles as the first part of the lecture. The education, personal control, and lifestyle and health lifestyle theory, and the convergence of the agency and structure. So I may not spend much time on this article because these are very sociological, but they is very highly based on the classical theory of the sociology. So I would rather focus more on the basic storyline about that. All right. So as you learned the last time, there are three major pathways of the as a mediator. So how the health and the impacts on your health condition through the work and economic conditions as the first pathway and social psychological resources as the second pathway And the last pathway was the health lifestyle. So education. So for example, as we learned last time, education enables people to the combine their health producing behaviors. I mean, the health positive behaviors into the coherent higher lifestyle, very positive health lifestyle. And a sensible control over outcomes in one's own life. Saying that if you work hard, for example, you may expect the bright future in your life in the future. Then they may lead you into the sense of the life control and encourages the health lifestyle because you would believe that the having the good health condition that will contribute to your a better a bright future because you can expect that you would have the better and the productive lifestyle life in the later because you can expect that a very close link with your endeavor and the behaviors to the future outcomes. But in opposite, if you think that regardless of your work and regardless of whatever you do, these are not related with your bright future or the productive future, you may not feel very motivated to work on that. So you may have the discouragement of the keeping the healthy lifestyle. Then that will lead into some of the deprived condition. And educated parents inspire to their children to the healthy lifestyle of their children. All right, so this is what you saw last time, but I'm just picking up. The health lifestyle. The healthy lifestyle is here in this network within your the parental the education. I mean your parents' education, and these are related with the education of yourself, and these are very closely related with the outcome of the income and the sensible control and having the social network, the social capital you learned the last time, and these are all related with the healthy lifestyle positively. And the healthy lifestyle is very positively associated with the health. Yeah, as you can imagine, if you have the very positive healthy lifestyle and very good life, the health is healthy lifestyle. And probably if you do not work too hard, if you do not work the exercise too hard, to make the burden to your health condition, you may have the very good outcomes in health. All right, so the transmission of the human capital, which is the education of the education and the human resource of your quality of the as a human resource. And these are usually based on the education. These are highly related with the health condition. All right, so how the individuals and the individual health lifestyle makes our society healthier, right? So you may think that these are just the individual level condition, then micro level condition, right? So how the individuals have the good health lifestyle, and then how that contribute to their and the further levels of the health condition. All right, so based on the classical theory, you may remember probably the Protestant ethics of capitalism. For example, based on the Calvinism a long time ago in the Western Europe, I don't know, in the European countries, there were the introduction of the capitalism. The capitalism is based on the pursuing the individual interest. And Max Weber, he argued that the individual level the culture of the Calvinist. They saw that their future, their fate to the heaven, their places in the heaven, these are proven in their individual access in the reality. And based on their belief to the preserve the seats in the heaven and the checking the convincing their seat in the heaven, they were believed that oh okay if they have the success in the real life in the current life, these are on the some of the proof they have the seat in heaven. So they worked very hard and they pursued their personal interest, and these were the basis of the capitalism. And then that introduced the capitalism in the areas, and these were spread out to the European countries. That was the origin of the Protestant ethic and the capitalism to the European countries. But how about the individualistic paradigm? For example, so as we just say that, oh, the health lifestyle is based on your own decision. What are what are the these are some lacks of the information? For example, what are the structures in the basis of the background? For example, the iteration means the selective reactivation of the past patterns of the thoughts and the action. So they are trying to the using their past passages and the past pathways as a references, and they are following their pathways. But to have the past pathways, they should have the some of the good background, as we learned that the good levels of the education, for example. And then if they do not have the good levels of education, possibly that may not lead into very good effects to the past activities. And the productivity, again, their future, the expected future that should be consistent with their expectation. And the practical evaluation, these three factors are all related, highly, very deeply related with their individual levels of the decisions. So without the considering the content, the structure of the society, it's very hard to make sure to see what are the main aspects of the the patterns of the difficulties. All right, so these are many, anytime there are many of the structural impacts on the individual choices of the people. All right, so structurally first on the mutually the sustaining schemas and the resources that empower or constrain their individual level action as a social action that tend to be produced by that social action. So that's why the structural factors are impacting on the individual level choices. We can see that. All right, so this is the one pair, the diagram from one of the article saying that the first criteria, the class circumstances, and the age and gender and race and ethnicity and the collectivities and living conditions. These are the background information about the individuals. And then there is all impact on their socialization experiences. For example, if they were born in very healthy lifestyle families, yeah, so as I briefly shared the last time, if they were born from the gymnastic or the Olympian family. So they would have the very healthy, very healthy the eating the behavior or the healthy diet styles. So then in that way, they learn a lot about that. So they are more familiar with the taking care of their weight and their health conditions. And these are impacting on the healthy lifestyle and interplaying. It means that the directions are not the unidirectional, but the bidirectional. And there are many of the life chances, then they would have the good opportunities based on their life choices. And if they have the good on the life chances based on the structure, they may have the better chance of the having the good life choices. So based on the individual level choices, and there would be the disposition of the X and the X, which means the the placement of their active styles and based on the Bourdieu's distinction, the very famous book. In Korean, that's a 구별짓기, but that was the Pierre Bourdieu's the articles and the books are very influential, showing that there are very class differentiated advantages and the disadvantages based on the culture. And these are also based on the disposition to act and their culture and the class, the social class, these are impacting on their practices, I mean their choices of the action. And then these are also including the alcohol use and the smoking and diet, exercise and checkups. So I mean the preventive services and having the seat belts. These are all related with health positive and health negative behaviors. And these are all impacting on the healthy lifestyle, reproducing their the social background, and these are related with the healthy lifestyles. All right, so based on number one, there are many of the social aspects of the choices and the social class. I mean, number one, these backgrounds impacts on the life chances, and these are all highly related with their life choices. Yeah, so I personally, I mean, oh yeah, no, not personally, as a as a professor of this class, yeah, I would emphasize on this slide of the lecture today, because this is very influential. This is very influential on the theory, how the social structure impacts on the individual choices, like the Weber's study. So that will be introducing very influential on the article about that. All right, so this is about that. The healthy lifestyle on these are if they have the very good levels of the healthy diets or health lifestyle indicator, they are less likely to smoke and they but it's very interesting, right? If they have the very good healthy lifestyle, they are more likely to have the drink moderately. So not very heavily or not very weak. So they would think that drink moderately, very um not very much, but some the certain and the average level of the drink would be the possibly associated with the healthy lifestyle. And the less likely to have have the overweight like me, the less likely, and they are more likely to walk, and they have the more likely to have the regular exercise, and these are highly related with the health lifestyle. And so these are very highly related about that. But again, it says there is a unidirectional. However, in case they have the very good levels of health condition. So if I ask you, what is your health condition today? So if you have the very good health condition, or if you have held very good health condition this year, you may have you are more likely to have the healthier lifestyle because you have more rooms to keep the good levels of the health in the healthy lifestyle, right? Right. So that will be very conventional finding on that. All right, so there are more the articles about that, but let me briefly have the pause of this video in case we have some of the technical problem, and I will come back soon with the next video, the comparing the easier part of the class today. All right, sharing. Okay, I will come back very soon in the next video.